Amelia Bedelia Goes Wild. Chapter 8. Pet Peeved. Amelia Bedelia checked her window sill as soon as she got up the next morning. Banana was gone. She raced downstairs and ran outside to look for the pill. There it was. She picked it up so her father wouldn't slip again. She was so excited she didn't know what to do. The banana had been peeled exactly the same way the monkey had peeled their bananas on the TV show. At breakfast, Amelia Bedelia's mother and father told her that it was okay for her to build her zoo as long as one of them was at home and as long as everyone helped had permission to be at Amelia Bedelia's house. Also, no dangerous pets were allowed. That's great, said Amelia Bedelia. Mom, will you get me more bananas, please? Like a big bunch of bananas? More bananas? Said her mother. You've already eat 2 a day. She may look like Amelia Bedelia, said her mother, but she's actually the monkey that escaped from the zoo. Do you know they still haven't caught that little fella? Amelia Bedelia froze, like prey caught in the open. Had her dad guessed what she was thinking? Did her dad know something she didn't know? Then she remembered her rule number 1. If you don't know what to say, ask a question. Dad, do you know how a banana eats a monkey? Do you know how a monkey eats a banana? She asked. With relish, said her father. Yuck, said Amelia Bedelia. A banana with a relish would taste terrible. Save that for your hot dog. Amelia Bedelia grabbed a banana from the fruit bowl and showed her dad how to peel it using the monkey method. Amazing, said her father. Who knew? He cut up the banana and put it on his cereal. I was thinking, said Amelia Bedelia, that I could offer my friends bananas for a snack this afternoon. They're healthy. I'm glad to hear you say that, said Amelia Bedelia's mother. I'll get you a bunch of bananas. And that is how Amelia Bedelia's number 2 rule was born. Include the word healthy in your request or comment, and grown-ups will automatically agree. That afternoon after school, Amelia Bedelia and her friends worked on Pet Alley and the rainforest habitat. They made signs and installed the hose in the apple tree. They got a ton done, but too soon it was time for everyone to go home and do their homework. Amelia Bedelia was just headed upstairs when she heard a commotion in the kitchen. It was her father, and he was not happy. He was holding something behind his back. Young lady, her father began, this is not a good sign in Amelia Bedelia's experiences. I was searching for an after-work, before-dinner treat. I had my heart set on ice cream, a morsel of rocky road, perhaps. Instead, I find roadkill lizard. He held up a plastic bag of frozen gecko. That's Georgie, said Amelia Bedelia, a gold dust day gecko from Madagascar. I don't care if it's Robin Hood from Sherwood Forest, said her father. He doesn't belong in our freezer. What if your mother had found this thing? I forgot he was in there, said Amelia Bedelia. I need him for my zoo. Zoo, bellowed her father. This poor creature is frozen stiff. Amelia Bedelia explained everything, including Clay's idea to freeze Georgie in a block of ice that would be placed on the bird bath pedestal. Amelia Bedelia's father shook his head, then smiled. He glanced out the window at the driveway. We don't have much time, he said. Mom just went to run a quick errand, and she'll be back any second. They made a good team. Amelia Bedelia's father acted like a surgeon performing a delicate operation, and Amelia Bedelia was his nurse. Milk carton, he said. Amelia Bedelia handed him a large carton of milk from the freezer, and he poured the milk into a pitcher. Then he opened the carton on the top, sponged it out, and held it under the faucet. Water, he said. Amelia Bedelia turned on the faucet and filled the carton with water. Lizard, he said. Gecko, said Amelia Bedelia, correcting him, as she handed him Georgie in his plastic bag. Oh no, said her father. This is your zoo. You do the honors. Amelia Bedelia made a face as she looked at her father and then at the flattened, frozen gecko in the bag. She sighed, then opened the bag, extracted Georgie by his tail. She lowered him into the milk carton, head first. Georgie fit perfectly. Tape, said her father. He closed up the end of the milk carton and taped it shut. Then he buried it in the back of the freezer. I hid him behind a frozen chunk of your grandmother's fruitcake, he said. That would frighten off anyone. Amelia Bedelia agreed. Her fruitcake is scarier than a dead lizard. Gecko, said her father, correcting her. Just then the back door swung open. Amelia Bedelia's mother came in carrying groceries. What's that pitcher of milk doing on the counter? She said. The carton was leaking, fibbed Amelia Bedelia's father. Dad noticed all kinds of things, said Amelia Bedelia. Her father winked at her. Amelia Bedelia winked back. Amelia Bedelia's mother started unpacking the groceries. Honey, I half expected to catch you sneaking a bowl of Rocky Road ice cream when I came in, she said. Sweetheart, he said, I'm shocked you'd think that. Sorry, she said, giving Amelia Bedelia's father a hug. Good news, lamb chops were on sale. Ooh, they're my favorite, he said. While her parents were discussing recipes, Amelia Bedelia reached into the fruit bowl and broke off 3 bananas. Hiding them behind her, she backed out of the kitchen. She didn't give those lamb chops a second thought. If she had, she would have realized they were bad news. Chapter 9, Monkey Shines. That evening, after she had eaten dinner and finished all of her homework, Amelia Bedelia grabbed her 3 bananas and went out to the backyard. Her brain hurt from too much thinking. She still couldn't hear herself think, but she could definitely feel it. She was thinking like Amelia Bedelia and trying to think like a monkey at the same time. If I were a monkey, she thought, what would I do all day? Where would I sleep? She went into her garage to look for something that might catch a monkey. If she could actually capture a real live monkey, her zoo would be the best ever. She found a long, skinny net, but that was for their badminton set. She found boxes, some gardening stakes, and a spool of string. Next to a croquet set, she discovered a relic from her past, her car seat. Amelia Bedelia sat down in it. She was way too big for it now. It was a tight squeeze, but she fit. There was a harness, a snack holder, and a cup holder. She remembered that she hadn't liked riding in it until her dad installed a horn in the back holder. Beep, beep, it still worked. Amazing. She used to drive her mother crazy, beeping at every car she saw. If I were a monkey, I would sit right here, thought Amelia Bedelia. It would be my recliner, just like Dad's. I'd take naps in it. She put one of the bananas in the seat. She peeled another banana and left a trail of pieces from the side door of the garage to the tree near her bedroom window. Then she went inside to get ready for bed. Amelia Bedelia brushed her teeth and put on her pajamas and kissed her parents good night. Then she read 2 chapters of her book. She was just about to turn off the light when she remembered to put a banana on the ledge outside of her window. She nudged her stuffed squirrel monkey to the side and was just opening the window when a face popped up on the other side of the glass. Yeah! Screamed Amelia Bedelia, flinging the banana and her stuffed monkey into the air. Seconds later, her mother and father ran into her room. What's wrong? Asked her mother. I saw something, said Amelia Bedelia. She sat on her bed, hugging her mother while her father looked out the window, in the closet, and under the bed. The only thing I found is this banana, he said, his shirt covered with dust bunnies. Amelia Bedelia was still shaking. I saw something move outside, she said. Her father picked up the toy monkey and handed it to her. Bit a baby baboon, he said. You've been eating too many bananas. Do you mistake this for a real monkey? Amelia Bedelia's mother laughed and tucked in Amelia Bedelia and her monkey. Good night, sweetie, she said, and good night, little imp. As soon as her parents turned off the lights and closed the door, Amelia Bedelia slipped out of her bed and looked out the window. She hoped she hadn't scared the real monkey away. The moon was shining brightly down on the backyard zoo. She looked to the right, then to the left. Right there, a live, real monkey was scampering on top of the garage and eating a banana. She almost yelled, "Yippee!" but her parents would have come running again, and she wasn't ready to explain her plan to them. She hoped the monkey would discover the old car seat. She hoped he would be cozy in his recliner all night, dreaming of tropical forests. Chapter 10, Monkey Saw, Monkey Did. The next day was unusual. There was no catastrophes. In school, Amelia Bedelia focused on learning all about monkeys. Mrs. Shuck was happy to see her paying attention again. Amelia Bedelia's friend Pat was really handy at building things. Pat's dad also had a ton of tools. So during recess, she asked Pat if he could borrow some tools and rig up something special for her. That afternoon, while everyone else was working on the exhibits, Amelia Bedelia took Pat to the garage to show him what she wanted. But she did not tell him exactly why she wanted it. Amelia Bedelia had researched how to train a monkey. She had learned that monkeys are very clever and can be taught to do amazing things. Monkeys have even flown into space, and they could assist people who needed help with everyday things. For example, if you drop your keys and couldn't reach them, you could teach your monkey to pick them up. The best way to train a monkey was to show it how to do something and let it copy you. Monkey see, monkey do. Of course, using a treat as a reward helped. Amelia Bedelia felt the same way. She would do almost anything for a double fudge brownie. Together, Amelia Bedelia and Pat drew up a plan. "This is definitely a contraption," said Pat. Amelia Bedelia liked the word. She wrote it on a big piece of poster board while Pat worked. She opened up cans of her dad's old paint and made some signs for her. "Enter, exit, don't feed the snake." Her favorite was, "Mr. Shuck says be an animal." When she had painted all the signs she could think of and Pat was still working on the contraption, she decided to tour the backyard to check on everyone's progress. "Lemonade, photo spot, insect crossing, signs of animals. Mrs. Shuck says be an animal." Dawn was putting the final touches of a giant pair of ears. "Here, try them on," she said. Amelia Bedelia put them on while Dawn walked to the edge of the yard and whispered a question to test them. "Wow," said Amelia Bedelia. "Yes, I can hear just like a jackrabbit." Then she tried on a pair of fuzzy slippers next to the rodent display. They let her walk as quiet as a mouse. A pair of binoculars would let visitors see like a hawk or a shark. Chip and Heather were finishing up the hibernation tunnel. At the entrance, they had taped a sign that said November, and at the end there was a sign that said April. When the flap at both ends of the tunnel were shut, it was pitch dark inside. There were pillows and blankets and a window inside the tunnel. But when the curtains were pushed aside, the hibernator just saw snow flurries. Amelia Bedelia made a list of hibernating animals in her notebook. They were so amazing. She had most of these animals, except maybe a hedgehog, in the stuffed animal basket in her room. Joy probably had a stuffed hedgehog, she thought. She could tuck all animals under the blankets in the tunnel. Soon it was almost time for supper. Amelia Bedelia's friends left one by one. Just before he went home, Pat installed the dangling banana. Amelia Bedelia sat down in the car seat and pulled the banana to her. She did it a couple times, hoping that she was teaching someone. Unknowing to her, monkey eyes were watching. The next morning, the car seat banana was missing. "So far, so good," said Amelia Bedelia. "Monkey saw, monkey did."